Dear friend, perhaps when we cross the age of 50, we begin to realize that health is no longer something to be taken for granted. The mild pain in the knees, the heaviness after every dinner, or sometimes the restless sleep because of that sharp pain in the big toe, all feel like whispers from our body. Have you ever felt that way? I'm a doctor with over 30 years of experience at a major hospital in the US, where every day I meet dozens of patients with different health stories. There are smiles of joy when diseases are under control, but also anxious eyes when health is at risk. And among all the illnesses I've treated, gout is one that many patients fear the most. I still remember clearly a patient named Richard, 62 years old. He was a retired engineer, tall and thin, with a kind face. Richard came to see me one rainy afternoon, limping, wearing one old sneaker and one brand new shoe. When I asked, he smiled and said, "Doctor, I had to buy a new pair of shoes just to wear on one foot. The other one hurts too much to even put on." That pain came from gout. One night, uric acid silently rose in his blood, quietly crystallizing into sharp crystals around the joint of his big toe. And then just a light touch was enough to keep him awake all night in agony. You see, gout isn't just a number on a lab report. It's sleepless nights, it's the worried look in a wife's eyes as she sees her husband wince in pain. It's the helpless feeling when you can no longer stroll leisurely in the park as you used to. Many people ask me, "Doctor, why does uric acid rise? Why me?" The answer lies not only in genetics, but also in lifestyle and daily meals. Food, something we often take for granted, can either be the friend that saves our health or the silent enemy that leads to disease. And that's why I made this video. Today, we'll go through the top 5 foods that rapidly raise uric acid levels, the culprits you may be unknowingly inviting into your body every day. I don't want to just give you a dry list because health is not a cold statistic. It's a story of life, family dinners, and the peaceful moments we all cherish. I want you to imagine this, a weekend evening, the family gathered around the table. There's barbecue seafood, a few beers to celebrate a special occasion. Laughter fills the air, but inside your body is quietly working overtime to process the massive load of purines from that meal. And then a few days later, a gout attack strikes, shattering the joy. Sounds familiar? Many of my patients have said, "I wish I had known earlier, doctor. I wish someone had warned me before things got this bad." So today I want to share, not just as a doctor, but as a friend who has crossed half a lifetime and seen countless stories around this disease. I want to help you truly understand what's happening inside your body. Science shows that when purines in food break down, they produce uric acid. If the kidneys can't eliminate it fast enough, this acid builds up in the blood. And when levels get too high, it crystallizes into tiny needles embedding into the joints, causing pain that no one ever forgets. But medical knowledge isn't meant to scare you. It's here so we can act early. I believe that once you understand these 5 foods, you'll make smarter choices for your meals. It doesn't mean we have to live miserably cutting out all delicious foods. It means knowing when to eat, how much, and how to keep our bodies healthy. Because health ultimately is not just about lab numbers. It's about quality of life, about walking with your grandkids, about family picnics without the fear of sudden gout pain. So on this journey, I invite you to sit down, take a few minutes to listen. Together, we'll explore the 5 foods that raise uric acid levels. So starting today, you can take control of your health. Are you ready? Food number 1, red meat and organ meats, the familiar stranger of gout. When it comes to foods that rapidly raise uric acid levels topping, the list is red meat and organ meats. Many of us are familiar with weekend feasts featuring grilled beef steak or dishes like pork intestines or stir-fried liver with garlic. They're delicious, tempting, and the joy of countless family meals. But few realize that behind the taste lies an invisible burden on our bodies: purines. You may ask, what are purines? Are they really that dangerous? Let me explain simply. Purines are compounds naturally found in many foods, especially red meat like beef, lamb, pork, and organ meats like liver, kidneys, and heart. When purines enter the body, the liver metabolizes them into uric acid. Normally, the kidneys filter uric acid out through urine. But if there's too much purine, or if the kidneys aren't as strong as they were at 20, uric acid builds up in the blood. And this, my friend, is the silent culprit behind gout. I remember a patient named Henry, 58, a chef by profession, a cheerful man who had spent his life surrounded by delicious dishes. But one day Henry came to me with a swollen red foot in so much pain he couldn't walk. When I asked about his diet, he gave a bitter smile. "Doctor, I cooked the best garlic fried liver in the city, but maybe it's what's hurting me. Tests showed his uric acid levels were far above the safe limit. Henry was shocked to learn that every piece of liver or bowl of pork intestines he loved was loaded with purines. You see, sometimes we don't realize the foods we eat daily can be the silent enemies of our health. Scientific insight: why red meat and organ meats are dangerous for gout. Medical studies have shown 100 grams of beef liver contains about 300 milliliters of purines, while the safe daily limit for a healthy person is only around 400 milliliters. As we age, the kidney's ability to eliminate uric acid declines. That's why people over 50 eating lots of organ meats are more likely to have high uric acid than younger folks. A U.S. study of over 47,000 middle-aged men found those who frequently ate red meat and organ meats had a 40% higher risk of gout than those who ate less. That number isn't to scare you. It's to help you understand that every food choice can tip the balance between health and illness. Real-life story: when patients discover the culprit. I once treated another patient, Mr. William, 65, retired. He loved fishing and cooking pork kidney stew with herbs. To him, it was a nourishing dish, a way to care for himself. But when gout hit with his foot swollen and red, and the ER doctor had to inject painkillers, he sighed. I thought I was nourishing myself. Turns out I was hurting myself. We reviewed his daily diet together. Seeing how often he ate organ meats, he gave a sad smile. Guess I need to learn to love greens as much as I love pork intestines. William's story is like hundreds of others I've seen in 30 years. None of them wanted illness, but lack of information and eating habits invited gout like an uninvited guest. Have you ever wondered, why do some foods silently harm our health? Why does one person eating normally get gout while another doesn't? Should we give up red meat and organ meats completely? The answer: no need to give them up entirely, but you must know the limits. Our bodies need protein to maintain muscles, the immune system, and many vital functions. But with red meat and organ meats, the amount and frequency matter most. Practical advice from experience. From thousands of patients I've treated, here are simple tips. If you have gout or high uric acid, cut back on organ meats as much as possible. Red meat like beef, lamb, pork, limit to 1-2 times, share week 80 to 100 calories each time. Replace with white meat like chicken, salmon, mackerel. Lower in purines and rich in heart-healthy omega-3s. Don't forget vegetables and low-sugar fruits. They alkalize the body and support the kidneys in excreting uric acid. Many of my patients, after changing their diet, told me, "Doctor, living healthy isn't about giving up all joys. It's about enjoying them wisely." I love that saying, because health, after all, is about balance. We can still enjoy delicious foods as long as we know our limits and listen to our bodies. When you eat less organ meats, reduce red meat, and add more greens, you give your body a chance to heal. You're telling yourself, I value my health, I value the years ahead. So my friend, red meat and organ meats, though favorites for many, are the #1 culprit for raising uric acid fast. Knowing to avoid or at least control them is the first step to preventing gout at its root. In the next part, we'll explore food #2, another silent enemy many people think is harmless. You'll be surprised. Do you often enjoy lots of seafood at weekend parties? Stay tuned, because the next story will make you see that familiar dish in a whole new light. Food #2, shellfish, the gift from the sea. That's a silent enemy of gout. Dear friend, in the previous part, we talked about red meat and organ meats, familiar foods loaded with purines. Today, I want to share with you another friend from the ocean: shellfish. Yes, shrimp, crab, clams, oysters, scallops. Dishes that seem nutritious and luxurious are in fact silent enemies for those with high uric acid levels. Opening story: the birthday party and the midnight call. I remember a few years ago, a patient named David called me close to midnight. His voice trembled over the phone. "Doctor, my foot. It hurts so much. It's swollen. I can't walk." The next morning, David came to the hospital wearing oversized slippers because his foot was so swollen and red. I asked, "David, what did you eat yesterday?" He sighed. "Doctor, yesterday was my daughter's birthday. We had a big seafood feast. Lobster, king, crab, scallops. The whole family had a blast. But this morning I paid the price." Tests showed David's uric acid spiked after just one lavish meal. You see, shellfish, the ocean's gift that so many love, carries an extremely high purine load. Just one meal can make uric acid surge and trigger a painful gout attack. Scientific insight: how dangerous are purines in shellfish? Nutrition studies reveal 100 grams of lobster contains about 150-200 milliliters of purines. 100 grams of crab packs up to 300 milliliters of purines, the same as animal liver. Shokukin scallops and oysters are equally rich in purines, especially when eaten in large amounts at once. When this purine load enters the body, the liver converts it into uric acid. Our kidneys, especially after age 50, can't work as efficiently as before, leading to uric acid buildup in the blood. And then, gout strikes. A study published in the New England Journal of Medicine following over 47,000 middle-aged men for 12 years found those who ate lots of seafood had a 50% higher risk of gout than those who ate less. That number is enough to make anyone pause, right? Patient story when joy turns into pain. I once treated another patient, Maria, 60, a retired teacher who loved traveling and enjoying fresh seafood in every coastal town she visited. After a trip to Florida, she came to me with a swollen foot, struggling to walk. She smiled wryly. "Doctor, I just ate the best crabs of my life, and this is the price I paid." Tests showed her uric acid doubled compared to her last visit. She sighed. "I love the ocean, but maybe I need to love my health more." Maria's story mirrors many others I've seen. They didn't mean to harm their health. They just didn't know these seemingly harmless foods were hidden culprits. Have you ever wondered, how can one seafood feast trigger a gout attack overnight? Is there a way to enjoy seafood without fearing disease? Chononoma, does eating seafood always mean you'll get gout? The answer, not necessarily. Seafood isn't the absolute villain. The real issue lies in quantity, frequency, and dietary balance. Practical advice from experience. From hundreds of gout patients I've treated, here's what I recommend. 1. Limit shellfish like crab, lobster, scallops, oysters. No more than once a week under 100 grain each time. 2. Avoid alcohol with seafood. Alcohol reduces the kidney's ability to excrete uric acid, doubling gout risk. 3. Drink plenty of water after meals, at least 2 liters a day, to help flush uric acid out. 4. Add vegetables and low-sugar fruits to alkalize the body and lessen purine effects. 5. Choose salmon, mackerel instead of crab, oysters, clams. They're lower in purines and rich in heart-healthy omega-3s. Philosophical view: health is about balance. Many patients after adjusting their diet told me, "Doctor, living healthy isn't about cutting out all joys. It's about knowing when to stop." I love that saying, because health doesn't demand misery, it simply asks for wiser choices. An occasional seafood feast can bring joy, but if it becomes daily indulgence, the body pays the price. And by then, the short joy won't be worth the long pain, right? So shellfish, the seemingly nutritious food, is culprit number 2 for rapidly raising uric acid and triggering sudden gout attacks. But when you understand the mechanism, know your limits, and eat moderately, you can still enjoy it without living in fear. In the next part, we'll look at food number 3, something so common it's in nearly every kitchen, yet few realize it silently spikes uric acid. Can you guess what it is? Let's find out in the next section. Food number 3, sugary drinks and high fructose beverages, the sweet enemy of gout. Dear friend, if red meat, organ meats, and shellfish are the obvious culprits behind rising uric acid today, I want to tell you about a silent enemy, one that's sweet, tempting, and everywhere: sugary drinks and high fructose beverages. Yes, those cans of soda, those bottled fruit juices we think are healthy just because the label says fruit or refreshing. But did you know that fructose, this sweet sugar, can spike your uric acid levels in just a few hours? Opening story: the man who loves soda. I remember a patient named Michael, 55, who worked in finance. A busy man, always in meetings signing papers. Michael rarely attended big parties, hardly drank alcohol, yet one day he came to me with a swollen red foot, gout pain so bad he couldn't even go to work. When I asked about his diet, Michael said, "Doctor, I don't eat liver, I don't eat much red meat, but I drink 3 to 4 cans of soda every day to stay alert at work." Tests showed his uric acid was abnormally high. You see, sometimes it's not the meat or seafood, it's the seemingly harmless sodas that are the hidden culprits. Scientific insight: fructose and uric acid. Many people think sugar only causes weight gain and diabetes, but in reality, fructose, the main sugar in sodas, bottled juices, and sweet syrups, also boosts uric acid production in the liver. Here's how it happens. 1. When you drink fructose-sweetened beverages, the liver breaks down fructose into purines. 2. Purines then convert into uric acid. 3. High uric acid levels in the blood over time lead to gout. A study in the Journal of the American Medical Association, JAMA, found people who drank 2 sugary sodas per day had twice the risk of gout compared to those who drank less than 1 soda per week. The scary part: sugary drinks don't just cause gout. They also contribute to fatty liver diabetes and high blood pressure, all of which worsen overall health. Patient story: the woman who loved fruit juice. Another patient of mine, Linda, 63, cared a lot about her health. She didn't drink soda, didn't eat much red meat, but every morning she drank a bottle of fruit juice she believed was good for her liver and full of vitamins. What she didn't know was that this bottled juice had 3 to 4 times the fructose of fresh fruit. When gout hit her foot, swollen and red, she asked me in disbelief, "Doctor, why do I have gout when I eat so healthy?" When I broke down the sugar content in her juice, she was silent for a moment, then sighed. "So I've been drinking sugar, not vitamins." Linda's story shows how we're often fooled by things that look healthy but silently harm us. Have you ever wondered why just a few cans of soda per week can spike uric acid? Sodium, are all sugars equally dangerous? Sodium, and is there a way to quench your thirst without hurting your health? The answer: not all sugars are the same. Glucose, the sugar in rice and bread, is metabolized differently from fructose. Only fructose significantly raises uric acid production. Practical advice from experience. From hundreds of gout patients I've treated, I often recommend: 1. Cut out soda and sugary drinks as much as possible. 2. If you crave sweetness, drink water with lemon slices or unsweetened herbal tea. 3. Eat fresh fruit instead of bottled juice. Whole fruit has fiber that slows sugar absorption. 4. For homemade juices, use moderate fruit portions and don't add sugar. 5. Drink at least 2 liters of water daily to help your kidneys flush out uric acid. Philosophical view: sweetness isn't always good. You know, in life, not everything sweet brings happiness. Sometimes the sodas that give us a moment of refreshment leave lasting damage on our health. Many patients who quit soda and switched to water told me, "Doctor, it was hard at first, but now I feel lighter, healthier." They realized clarity and health come from a better lifestyle, not from artificial sweetness in a can. So my friends, sugary drinks and high fructose beverages, though sweet and convenient, are culprit number 3 for spiking uric acid and causing gout. But when you understand the mechanism and choose smarter options, water, herbal tea, fresh fruit, you can still enjoy life without paying the price with your health. In the next part, we'll discuss culprit number 4, a familiar drink tied to gatherings with friends, but a nightmare for gout patients. Can you guess what it is? Food number 4, alcohol, the life of the party, but a nightmare for gout patients. Dear friend, in modern life, alcohol seems to have become the must-have friend at gatherings, parties, and special occasions. A glass of wine to celebrate a cold beer after work. It feels like a simple joy everyone wants. But for gout patients, alcohol, especially beer, is not just the life of the party. It can be a silent enemy, quietly raising uric acid and triggering the kind of pain no one ever forgets. The man in the weekend party. I remember a patient named Robert, 57, owner of a small business. He came to see me limping, his foot swollen and red, his eyes tired after a sleepless night. When I asked, Robert sighed. "Doctor, last weekend my company celebrated its 20th anniversary. We drank beer until midnight. The next day my foot felt like it was on fire. Tests showed his uric acid spiked dramatically overnight. You see, sometimes just one night of fun can wake up the sleeping beast of gout. And beer, not wine or cocktails, is the biggest culprit. Scientific insight: why beer is worse than wine. Medical studies have shown, beer contains lots of purines from yeast and malt. Once inside the body, purines convert into uric acid, the root cause of gout. Alcohol also reduces the kidney's ability to flush out uric acid, making levels rise even faster. Here, a study in the British Medical Journal found, drinking 2-3 beers per day doubled gout risk compared to non-drinkers. Wine carried a lower risk, but heavy drinking still significantly raised uric acid levels. So, for gout patients, beer is public enemy number 1, while other alcohols, though milder, still need strict limits. The farmer and the harvest party. I once treated a farmer named Tom, 60, who lived in the countryside. After harvest season, he and his friends celebrated with beer from noon till night. The next morning, his wife called me in panic. "Doctor, his foot is swollen so badly he can't even walk." When I visited, Tom sat on a chair grimacing in pain, his foot bright red. He said, "I used to think gout was for rich folks who ate fancy foods. Never thought it would come for me, a man who only knows hard work." Tom's story reminds us gout spares no one. It doesn't just come from rich foods, but also from habits that seem harmless, like a few beers each week. Have you ever wondered, why does beer trigger gout so quickly? Did urine or one of your spirits as dangerous as beer? Is there a way to enjoy social events and still protect your health? The answer: yes. if you know your limits and make smarter choices. Practical advice from experience. From hundreds of gout patients I've treated here are key rules. 1. Avoid beer as much as possible. If you must, limit to under 1 glass a week. 2. If drinking wine, keep it to 1 small glass, chana day, no more than 2 to 3 times a week. 3. Never drink alcohol during a gout flare. It makes things much worse. 4. Drink 1 to 2 glasses of water after each alcoholic drink to help flush uric acid. 5. Pair drinks with healthy meals, plenty of vegetables, low-sugar fruits, to reduce alcohol and purine impact. Philosophical view: when short-term fun brings long-term pain. You know, many patients who quit alcohol told me, "Doctor, at first I missed it so much, but now instead of a few hours of drunken fun, I have healthy, pain-free days with my family. That's worth it." Their words made me think. In life, real joy doesn't come from a beer glass. It comes from having the health to enjoy every moment: morning walks with grandkids, afternoon gardening, evenings with family, without fearing a sudden gout attack. So my friend, alcohol is, especially beer, is culprit number 4 for spiking uric acid and causing gout. Knowing how to avoid it, or at least cut it down, is how you protect your feet, your heart, in the healthy years ahead. In the next part, we'll discuss food number 5, the final culprit on this list, one found in almost every modern kitchen. You'll be surprised what it is. Food number 5, processed foods, the convenient choice with a heavy price for health. Dear friend, we live in an age where convenience comes first. A hot meal from the microwave in minutes, a few slices of sausage or bacon for a rush breakfast. That's modern life. But few realize that processed foods, sausages, canned meat, instant noodles, frozen meals, are culprit number 5, silently raising uric acid and triggering painful gout attacks. Opening story: the man and his quick breakfast. I remember a patient named James, 61, a truck driver. Always on the go, he often had sausage sandwiches and coffee at rest stops for breakfast. When gout struck, his foot was so swollen and painful he couldn't drive. He came to me and said, "Doctor, I don't drink, I don't eat fancy food. Yet gout still found me. Maybe it's these quick breakfasts." As we reviewed his diet, the truth became clear. James ate processed meats daily with salt, fat, and purines far above what his body needed. Processed foods also contain preservatives and additives, burdening the liver and kidneys, organs already slowing down with age. Tests showed James' uric acid levels far beyond the safe limit. Scientific insight: why processed foods are dangerous. Medical research has shown: 1. Sausages, canned meat, and bacon are rich in purines and saturated fats, raising uric acid and bad cholesterol. 2. Instant noodles and canned foods contain excessive salt, 3 to 4 times more than home-cooked meals, leading to high blood pressure and reduced uric acid excretion by the kidneys. 3. Preservatives and artificial additives cause chronic inflammation, worsening gout symptoms. A study in the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition found people who ate processed foods regularly had a 35% higher risk of gout compared to those eating mostly fresh foods. The busy woman and the price of convenience. Susan, 59, an office worker, often ate instant noodles or deli sandwiches for lunch due to her busy schedule. She once told me, "Doctor, I thought eating small portions was fine, but now my joints hurt so much I can't even walk." Tests showed high uric acid levels. After switching to fresh lunches with vegetables, lean meat, and fruit, she lost 15 pounds, stabilized her blood pressure, and her gout attacks disappeared. Have you ever wondered, why do processed foods impact gout so much? Is eating small amounts safe? Can we stay convenient yet healthy? The answer: yes, if you make smarter choices. Practical advice from experience. From hundreds of gout patients I've treated, I always stress: 1. Minimize sausages, canned foods, fast food, instant noodles. 2. If you must eat them, drink plenty of water and add vegetables and fruits to reduce harm. 3. Prepare simple meals at home: salads, boiled eggs, steamed fish, quick yet healthy. 4. Learn to read food labels, choose low salt, low preservative, low saturated fat options. 5. Cook in batches on weekends to have healthy meals ready for the week. Philosophical view: convenience and its price. You know, modern life gives us convenience, but health is never free. A quick meal may save 30 minutes, but if it costs years in the hospital, is it worth it? Many patients told me after changing their diets, "Doctor, I realized cooking a simple meal is also a way to love myself." Those words made me realize health begins with small daily choices. So my friend, processed foods, though convenient and cheap, are culprit number 5 for spiking uric acid and causing gout. Knowing to avoid them or at least minimize them gives you a chance at a healthier, more peaceful life ahead. In the final part of this video, we'll summarize everything and call for action, because knowledge only matters when it leads to change. The journey to healthy living starts today. Dear friend, il faut never make a rush. We've just taken a long journey together. From sizzling red meat, joyful seafood feasts, sweet sodas, cheerful beer mugs to the convenient processed foods we often bring into our bodies without a second thought. And I believe after hearing these stories, there might be a moment of silence in your heart. Perhaps to reflect, to ask yourself, have I been like that too? Are these familiar meals silently harming my health? If the answer is yes, then congratulations, because recognizing the problem is the first step toward change. Life after 50, health becomes the greatest gift. When we're young, we take health for granted. We eat whatever we want, stay up late, and think a few beers on the weekend can't hurt. But after 50, the body starts whispering warnings: sudden gout attacks, rising blood pressure, higher blood sugar levels. These aren't just illnesses, they're reminders from time itself. I've met so many people. Some came to me when it was too late. Joints deformed, kidneys, damaged lives turned upside down by gout. But others simply by changing their meals, cutting alcohol, quitting soda, eating more vegetables, managed to control their condition and live healthy for many more years. The difference wasn't luck. It was the choices they made today. Questions for you. I want you to ask yourself, is a few minutes of delicious taste worth trading for years of illness? Is one fun drinking party worth trading for sleepless nights with gout pain? Is convenience worth trading for health, something money can't buy? The message I want to share. Dear friend, health doesn't come from big decisions. It comes from the smallest choices every single day: a glass of water instead of soda, steamed fish instead of canned meat, a sugar-free lemonade instead of alcohol. And I believe your one MFimam, when you understand the 5 foods that raise uric acid, when you start changing your daily meals, you're giving yourself the chance to live healthy, to live fully with family, friends, and loved ones. A call to action. Now I want to hear your story. Leave a comment below. And maybe what challenges have you faced with gout? Tim, how have you tried changing your diet? What's the biggest obstacle for you right now? I promise to read and reply to every comment, because health is a journey we can't walk alone. If you find this video helpful, hit like, share it with your loved ones so this message reaches more people. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel so you won't miss future videos on health, nutrition, and a better lifestyle. Because health isn't just about the years you live. It's about the quality of every single day you get to live. See you in the next video, where I'll share the best products to help reduce and stabilize uric acid.